Hi, I'm Hira, and today I'm going to be presenting the paper Privacy Preserving Blockchain Based Systems for Car Sharing Leveraging Zero Knowledge Protocols. My fellow co authors are Ivan Gudimenko and Sebastian Klaus from T Systems MMS, Asadullah Khalid from Hochschule Mittweida, Mustafa Idris and myself from Technische Universität Dresden, and Manuel Bolzinger and Andrei Lukau from BMW Group. We are going to start with a few introductory details necessary to understand the context of the paper. Then we are going to move forward with the general system setup, explaining overall how our system works. Then we are going to move forward with the specific system implementations using the two technologies we have used, namely the Socrates framework and the Hyperledger Indy framework. Finally, we are going to conclude with a discussion of the results. IT businesses are adopting blockchain. For example, banks, insurance companies, media and entertainment companies, all of them are gradually looking into adopting blockchain-based systems. The system we are going to talk about in this presentation is also an IT-based car sharing system built on top blockchain and which is a joint effort of BMW and T-Systems MMS. This system was created to be used with BMW Mobility Pool. So, businesses who are adopting blockchain face compliance regulations and strict privacy concerns. Blockchain by design is transparent and it is not privacy preserving, which leads to privacy concerns. We will look into it further how this can be managed in the upcoming slides. Talking about IT systems, mobility services like car sharing are rapidly gaining popularity. ShareNow, which is a German car share company, had 4.2 million customers in 2019. If you want to register into any such company, you need a valid driving license and a national ID. The credentials presented should be trustworthy as well. However, during this process, the user ends up disclosing a lot more information than necessary, like the place of birth, the date of birth, the photo ID, etc. So we wanted a car sharing system that utilizes credentials from trusted providers, and we also wanted that it could be guaranteed that presented credentials are valid and trustworthy, that is, they are not revoked and not forged. Lastly, we wanted that minimal information should be disclosed. For validity and trustworthiness of credentials, we used a blockchain-based credential issuance system. And for privacy preservation, we use selective disclosure via zero-knowledge proofs. A zero-knowledge proof is a method by which one party can prove to another party that they know a particular value x without conveying any information apart from the fact that they know the value x. Selective disclosure is a closed concept. Selective disclosure means that we can disclose only a certain subset of information about a credential and not the entire credential. For example, we can prove that the owner of the driving license age is above 18 without disclosing the actual age. And for example, you can see in this picture that you can just disclose that the credential is valid without disclosing any other information about the credential, like when the credential was issued, when it was expired, etc. So this is overall a general concept of how zero knowledge proofs and selective attribute disclosure works. Now moving on to a journal system setup. In our system, we have various roles. We have three main roles. The first role is that of an issuer, which basically issues a credential. The second role is of a prover, which gets the credential and constructs a proof, which it sends then to the verifier. And verifier role is the role which basically verifies the proof. So in our system, we have two issuers. The first issuer is the transport authority and the second issuer is the BMW Group membership status provider. The prover in our case is the end user application and it could just be a smartphone application. And the verifier is the rental car pool. Underneath all of these roles, we have the blockchain layer where the cryptographic information necessary to prove the validity and trustworthiness of credential is published. So all the necessary key material, the public keys, etc., all are stored on the blockchain layer. So the first step in our use case is that the transport authority issuer issues a driving license credential to the prover. Similarly, as the second step, the BMW Group membership status provider issues a membership status credential to the prover. And after the prover has both of these credentials, it can then request the rental car pool for a car rental. The verifier would ask the prover to prove to it certain pieces of information that it can construct from the license credential and from the membership status credential. The prover would then construct the proof and send it to the verifier. The verifier would check whether this proof is correct, and it can also access the blockchain layer for the keys and for the public keys, etc., to verify the validity of the proof. If the proof is valid, it would grant access to the car to the prover, and if the proof is not valid, it would deny the access of the car to the prover. So this is in general how the overall our system works. Now coming on to our specific system implementation leveraging Socrates framework. In the first step, the trusted setup is initiated and the prover and verification keys are generated. Then Socrates generates a verifier smart contract and embeds the verification key in it. This smart contract is published on the blockchain. The prover key is given to the user. In the third step, the issuers of our system register their keys on the attributes contract that we have written. Due to this registration of keys, it could be verified later on that whether a particular credential was issued by these issuers or not. Then the issuers issue credentials to the user and also assign the attributes of these credentials and publish to the attributes contract. Now, since the user has got the credentials, it creates a zero knowledge proof using the prover key. This proof is then sent to the verifier. The verifier then sends this proof to the verify contract to check whether the proof is correct and all necessary predicates are satisfied. If the proof is valid, it also checks whether the credentials that were used in the creation of proof were published by the valid issuer or not. If the proof is correct and credentials are also issued by valid issuer, then the access would be granted. So this basically sums up how the car sharing system atop Socrates framework in Ethereum works. Now we will move on to our second implementation, that is the car sharing system atop Hyperledger Indy. This works in a similar way. The customer uses its client wallet to get a membership credential from the BMW issuer. Once it gets the membership credential, the client wallet gets the license credential from the transport authority issuer, in this case the KBA Trust Anchor. Then it submits the proof to the car, that is the verifier. The verifier would fetch the membership information from the BMW issuer, and then it would fetch the information from the transport authority issuer. And then using both of these information and the proof that is submitted by the client, it would verify the proof, and if it is correct, it would grant access to the user, and if it is incorrect, it would deny the access to the user. Now we can compare side by side how Socrates and Indy are similar or they are different. So the blockchain technology used by Socrates is Ethereum, and the blockchain technology used by Indy is Indy Plenum. The zero knowledge proof engine used by Socrates is Snarks, and by Indy it is IDMX. The credentials management in both of these cases is managed off-chain. The proof verification of Socrates is on-chain, whereas in Indy it is off-chain. The proof generation is in both of these technologies is again off-chain. The proof arguments in Socrates is as whatever is defined by the smart contract. So we need to make a specific smart contract in Socrates for the proof arguments. Whereas in Indy it depends on the schema that was published and the claims that was published. In Socrates, the identity management is simply the Ethereum address or any other custom identifier, whereas Indy solely relies on the decentralized identifiers. Coming to the performance evaluation, when we ran these two technologies side by side and we measured their time differences, we realized that in general, Indy performs much better than Socrates. In the onboarding procedure, the time taken by Indy was a little bit less than Socrates. But in proof generation, the time taken by Indy was much lesser than the time taken by Socrates. And in proof verification, the time taken by Indy was also much lesser than the time taken by Socrates. So overall, we can say that Indy is much more performant than Socrates, at least in our particular use case. So, just the concluding remarks. In Socrates, for each new proof, you have to create a new setup and circuit each time, while in Indy, it is easier to generate dynamic proofs at runtime. Therefore, Indy is more flexible and efficient. Indy is a separate ecosystem and does not require any compatibility with Ethereum. However, it needs its own Plenum blockchain to run. Socrates can be used in conjunction with systems that require compatibility with Ethereum as a prerequisite. Now we will move on to the demos.
Hi guys, my name is Asadullah Khalid and I'm going to present you the use case implemented using Socrates and Ethereum blockchain. We use Socrates to initiate a trusted setup by compiling the pre-image function having selective attributes as the parameters. As a result, it generates the prover key and the verification key, including the verifier smart contract. Credentials that are to be proved are then selected. The request characteristics phase involved the issuer to verify the credentials in the database, issue signed credentials to the user for service, and publish the signed credentials on the blockchain. Then the user uses Socrates to generate a zero-knowledge proof using the prover key and presents the proof on the blockchain. The verifier verifies the zero-knowledge proof using the verifier smart contract and the anonymous credentials using the attributes smart contract, both published on the blockchain.
Hello everybody, my name is Mushtaba and I will be presenting our demo with the Indy use case. So I have in front of me 4 clients and I've already run all these steps. I'll be just explaining them to save some time. So we have our first client, that is BMW. BMW client basically would be issuing the membership credentials to the customers. Then we have second client, that is KBA. This is basically government authority that is responsible for issuing driving licenses to the customers. Then we have the client for the customer itself. The customer would receive these 2 credentials from BMW and KBA and save them in the wallet, and then would later on use these credentials to create composite proofs and prove the validity of its credentials to the verifier. And as the last step, I have a client for the verifier. The verifier would basically verify the customer claims. So first of all, BMW issues a membership credential to the customer, and based on this information, which has customer's first name and last name and the membership level, which is gold in this case. Similarly, KBA, which is the government authority, issues driving licenses to the customer, and it issues the driving licenses to the customer based on this information, that is customer first name, last name, number of years of experience, and what is the license class here. Based on this information, the customer having both these informations already stores this information into the wallet, and now the customer wants to use a car from the BMW mobility pool. The verifier client is basically running on the car, and the car, when bootstraps, sets some minimum requirements for the customer to use. So the minimum requirement for the car is the membership level. The minimum requirement for the membership level is silver. The minimum required number of years of experience is 5, and the license class minimum required is C. So the customer, which basically we have seen, already verifies all this information. Now the customer needs to prove this information is in a zero knowledge way. The customer basically asks the requirement of the verifier, and then based on this requirement checks whether it meets it, and where if it meets those requirements, creates a composite proof based on these 2 separate credentials, and then present this information in a zero knowledge way to the car. So the car is not interested in customer's actual number of years of experience, just wants to know that if it meets the threshold set by the car or not. So the customer creates a proof, and when the proof is opened, we see that the customer's name and second name is revealed, but not the customer other information that is not required. So only the predicates that these information is satisfied or not is revealed in this case. So when the car receives this information and a cryptographic proof that the minimum values set are already satisfied, the car gets open for the customer and the customer is able to use the car.
We are now concluding our presentation. Thank you for your attention. Here are the references of the images we have used throughout the slides. We are open to questions now. Thank you.